Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The country recorded an unprecedented single-day new COVID-19 cases of 7,103, resulting to 73,264 nationwide active cases. In the latest bulletin of the Department of Health, the total number of confirmed cases in the country now stands at 648,066, including the 390 recovered patients and 13 new deaths. According to DOH, most of the 73,264 active cases, or 93.9%, were mild symptoms, while 3.3% were asymptomatic. DOH data also showed that 1.1% of the total active cases have severe symptoms and 1% were in critical conditions. The 7,103 new COVID-19 infections were the highest daily tally since the pandemic reached the country last year, beating the 6,958 new COVID-19 cases last August 10, 2020. The Department of Interior and Local Government reminded the local government units on Friday, March 19, to cease from enforcing their own contact tracing system and strictly follow the StaySafe.ph, which is the government's official contact tracing application. DILG Undersecretary and spokesperson Jonathan Malaya issued a call as the country prepares for the full implementation of the national contact tracing system to boost the government's digital contact tracing efforts against the COVID-19. For a more synchronized plan of action, Malaya emphasized that the LGUs do not need to procure and implement their own contact tracing apps, since a Stay Safe application is readily available for their use at no cost to them. However, Malaya added that if the LGU has already procured its own system and is being used widely, they can continue with it, provided they integrate it with the Stay Safe application, which is required under IATF regulations. The DILG official noted that they are now finalizing the terms of the formal turnover of the Stay Safe application from the developer Multisys to the DILG as the end user and head of the National Task Force on Contact Tracing. Malaya assured that once the system is unified, it will be a big boost to the country's digital contact tracing efforts, which will complement and assist in the work of 255,000 contact tracers nationwide. The Food and Drug Administration announced on Friday, March 19, that it granted an emergency use authorization, or EUA, to the coronavirus disease vaccine of Russian drug maker Gamaleya Research Institute. Food and Drug Administration Director General Eric Domingo said in a morning press briefing that Sputnik V had met conditions to be given an EUA, and the rigorous and thorough review of late-stage trial data concluded that known and potential benefits of vaccine outweighed its known and potential risks. Gamaleya Sputnik V from Russia is the fourth vaccine to be granted emergency approval in the Philippines.
And today we would like to announce that after a rigorous and thorough review by the regulatory and medical experts of the currently available published and unpublished data, the FDA is granting emergency use authorization to the Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine manufactured by Gamaleya National Center of Epidemiology and Microbiology So for short, we'll call it the Gamaleya Sputnik V vaccine.
The national government has signed a tripartite agreement with the private sector and American vaccine manufacturer Moderna for the procurement of 20 million doses of anti-coronavirus disease vaccines, according to vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. Secretary Galvez, chief implementer of the National Task Force Against COVID-19, said he inked the deal with the private sector, represented by business tycoon Enrique Razon, chairman of the International Container Terminal Services Incorporated, and Moderna senior vice president Patrick Bergstedt on March 18. Under the agreement, the national government will get 13 million doses of Moderna vaccines, while the private sector will receive 7 million doses for the inoculation of its frontline workers. However, the date of delivery of the Moderna jabs has yet to be revealed. Galvez said that the signing of the tripartite agreement will help the country realize its goal of having a steady supply of vaccines this year. Moderna reported that its vaccine, which is taken in 2 doses, has a 94% efficacy rating. The government started negotiating with Moderna late last year after the pharmaceutical firm secured an emergency use authorization in the United States. At present, Moderna has yet to secure an EUA from the Philippines FDA. His critics may try to hail him to the international court over the drug-related killings, but President Duterte ruled out any chance of facing trial abroad. The president declared Thursday that he was not stupid to let the animals in the international court put him on trial. Duterte has refused to recognize the jurisdiction of the international court, saying he would only face trial in the country. The president made the comment shortly after criticizing the human rights groups for supposedly dwelling on the number of slain drug suspects instead of their victims. He told them that there were 2 sides of a coin. Duterte, who vowed an unrelenting anti-drug crackdown, explained that he warned those who will destroy the nation with illegal drugs. In December 2020, the International Criminal Court's prosecutor claimed that there was reasonable basis to believe crimes against humanity were committed in the war on drugs. Recently, the Supreme Court junked a petition seeking to nullify the country's pullout from the ICC. The decision recognized that the president is a primary architect of the country's foreign policy. The palace has lauded the SC decision and lauded the ICC to stop its probe on Duterte since it has no jurisdiction over the country.
Pati ako idemanda nila yung International Court of Justice nandoon sa Hague. It's in Europe. Ngayon, gusto nila ako magharap doon. Magharap ako ng korte ng judge Pilipino. Hindi mo ako magharap doon sa mga animal na yun. Wala naman akong, sabi ko, not in a million years.
The days will begin to last longer than nights after the vernal equinox on March 20, the day that daylight and nighttime are almost of equal length. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration said equinox, also known as the first point of Aries, is an imaginary point in the sky where the ecliptic and the celestial equator meet. It said that on the day of the equinox, night and day will be about the same length on the same latitude in both hemispheres. Longer daylight hours will start days following the vernal equinox in the Philippines, which lies a little above the equator and belongs to the northern hemisphere. While there is no spring season in the country, warm and dry season prevails from March until May. Pag-asa has yet to officially declare the end of northeast monsoon or Amihan season or an onset of warm and dry season this year. Last year, it was declared on March 20. In Metro News, Valenzuela Molecular Lab now accepts RT-PCR tests for travel and work purposes. Mayor Isko reiterates appeal for frontline health workers to get vaccinated against COVID-19. And Mayor Vico Soto unveils plan for Pasig's bike lanes. More in this report.
The Valenzuela Hope Molecular Laboratory is now accepting individuals who wish to avail of RT-PCR or swab tests for COVID-19 for travel requirements and work purposes. The laboratory will accommodate 20 walk-in clients per day and will be open from Monday to Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. Clients will only need to present a valid ID, while date and time of travel for overseas Filipino workers. The RT-PCR test costs 3,800 pesos. The results will be sent to the client's email address after 24 hours. Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Dumagoso again urged frontline health workers to get vaccinated as the capital city received a new batch of COVID-19 vaccine supplies. Dumagoso on Wednesday announced that 1,870 vials of Sinovac vaccines and 1,000 vials of Astrazeneca vaccines were turned over to the city government. Citing data from the Manila Health Department, he said at least 102 frontline health workers have contracted COVID-19 from March 1 to 17. Of this number, 92 have not been vaccinated while 10 were vaccinated. Dumagoso said the 10 vaccinated health workers are doing well so far. The local chief executive said that once medical frontliners from the city's 6 district hospitals are vaccinated, frontliners from private medical facilities are also welcome to avail the free COVID-19 vaccines being given by the City of Manila. Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto unveiled on Thursday the city's plan for its bike lane to provide cyclists a safer area to ride, especially as more and more people transition to cycling amid the limited supply of public transportation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. On his official Twitter account, Soto posted the city's government plan to reduce car lanes and build a bike lane beside the motorcycle lane along J. Vargas Street. Last March 16, Barangay San Antonio opened Pasig's first bike repair station as support to the growing cycling community in the city. The bike repair station is located along F. Ortigas Jr. Road, formerly Emerald Avenue near Ortigas Park.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. First Montanosa Film Festival in Baguio City slated. Coast Guard rescues 70 passengers from distressed ship in Surigao del Norte. And Gensan and South Cotabato get 3,000 more vaccine doses for expanded rollout. Here are the details.
The first Montanosa Film Festival or MFF will be held in an outdoor cinema at the Lawakan Airport Drive-In and Burnham Lake in Baguio City. The MFF celebrates independent filmmaking and highlights the world's vast array of cultures and experiences, all of which have evolved throughout history. 10 short films will compete in the MFF, chosen from 25 film proposals. Festival Director Ferdy Balanag said, the inaugural staging of the Montanosa Film Festival will explore the new normal methods of staging an event, making sure that it conforms to health and safety protocols. The festival runs from March 20 to March 28. 70 passengers were rescued after the passenger vessel they were riding stalled off the waters of Dapa, Surigao del Norte and emitted smoke while at sea. According to the report of the Philippine Coast Guard, the rescued passengers aboard MV Vince Gabriel III departed from Port of Dapa, going to Surigao City Port and Ferry Terminal on Wednesday, March 17. The vessel then encountered engine problem due to its damaged exhaust pipe that released severe smoke inside the vessel. Coast Guard personnel responded and towed the passenger vessel back to its port of departure, where all the passengers safely disembarked. No passengers were injured during the incident. The Department of Health in Region 12 has delivered nearly 3,000 additional doses of Astrazeneca vaccines to General Santos City and South Cotabato Province to expand the inoculation for frontline healthcare workers in the area. The City Health Office or CHO in General Santos received on Thursday a total of 119 vials or 1,190 doses, while the Integrated Provincial Health Office or IPHO of South Cotabato got 177 vials or 1,770 doses that were intended for the third batch of eligible health workers. The CHO immunization program in General Santos on Friday targets an initial 628 individuals for the expanded vaccination that will run for another 7 days or until March 25. In South Cotabato, the IPHO said the additional Astrazeneca doses will cover the first dose of health workers assigned in its COVID-19 isolation and treatment facilities.
In world news, U.S. COVID cases plateau even as vaccinations are up. EU watchdog says AstraZeneca shot safe and effective. And Finland to introduce gargling COVID-19 test. Let's watch this.
The rate of new coronavirus infections was plateauing in the United States, a warning sign that has previously predicted new surges, even as data showed 1 in 8 Americans are now fully vaccinated. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the latest 7-day average of new cases was 54,201 as of March 16, a level that has remained roughly consistent for the past week. Last week, CDC said the UK variant was on track to be the dominant strain in the US by the end of March or April. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden said his goal of getting 100 million coronavirus vaccine doses administered in his first 100 days in office will be met by Friday, far in advance of the original target. The EU's drug regulator said Thursday that AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine was safe and effective and was not linked to an increased risk of blood clots. The European Medicines Agency, however, said that after an investigation it could not definitely rule out a connection to a particularly rare type of blood disorder. The EMA had recommended adding a warning to a product information with the AstraZeneca shot. This would draw attention to the possible rare conditions to help patients and healthcare professionals stop and mitigate any possible side effects. Starting next week, a Finnish commercial health service provider will offer Finnish customers gargling tests for COVID-19, reported Finnish news agency USU on Thursday. The report said that person to be tested will gargle with a common salt liquid and spit it out for analysis. The current method of using a long stick to the nose was thought to be painful for many. The gargling COVID-19 test option was seen before in some European countries, which was considered by some researchers as a viable alternative to the nostril or throat swab due to the easy collection and relief on medical workers.
In entertainment, K-pop boy band Super Junior's new studio album has sold nearly 244,000 copies since its release on March 16. Super Junior made their comeback by releasing their Renaissance album to mark their 15th year since debuting in 2005. In 3 days, it has sold 243,802 copies compared to the 76,321 copies in sales garnered in 1 week by Super Junior's repackaged album Timeless that was released last year. It also topped the digital album sales charts of major Chinese music sites including QQ Music, Kugu Music, and Kuwo Music. The Renaissance also became #1 on iTunes Top Albums chart in 20 countries and regions, including the Philippines. In sports, the family of Robert Jaworski said that the great cage icon is progressing well in his recovery from an illness and a recurring blood condition. His family released a statement Friday, March 19, in hopes of allaying fears about the physical condition of one of Philippine basketball's greatest and most popular players. Jaworski had a bout with pneumonia last year, but tested negative for COVID-19 while dealing with a blood abnormality that was discovered in 2016. The family asked for prayers and well wishes, while also requesting for privacy while he is on the way to a full and complete recovery. Jaworski made his last public appearance in January 2020 during his former team Barangay Nebra San Miguel's successful title run in the 2019 PBA Governor's Cup. Before we end another work week, we would like to share that the Manila Bulletin is launching a QR code campaign that will expand its digital audience, including those using smartphones. This unique QR code highlights the Manila Bulletin brand with a Philippine map embedded in it, just like the company's logo masthead. This is the first time that this was used to form part of a working QR code. To be well informed, the reader can simply scan the code found in transportation hubs, train stations, waiting sheds, elevated walkways, and other public spaces to bring them to the Manila Bulletin's main website. This way, readers will be digitally informed, inspired, and empowered. And those are the news on web today, March 19, 2021. For more news and details, get your copy of the Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow, or you can log on to www.mb.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link in this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin. Join us again on Monday. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.